our students
Tonight,
safe.
President Trump vowing to take action after the Florida school massacre, which White House sources say impacted him personally.
We must do more to protect our children. We have to do more to protect our children.
The president asking for regulations banning bump stocks, the devices allowing some guns to shoot hundreds of rounds per minute. The president had already called for a review of bump stocks after they were used by the Las Vegas shooter.
I expect that these critical regulations will be finalized, Jeff, very soon.
Under fire from victims to do more. Shame on you! The White House now considering legislation that would strengthen background checks, but neither of those efforts would have stopped the Florida shooter.
The president is trying to do everything that he can.
White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders also facing questions tonight about the president's tweet blaming the FBI for missing warning signs about the shooter because, quote, they are spending too much time trying to prove Russian collusion with the Trump campaign. There is no collusion.
We would like our FBI agencies to not be focused on something that is clearly a hoax in terms of investigating the Trump campaign and its involvement.
That controversial tweet, one of 18 in 5 days about Russian meddling, following the indictments of 13 Russian officials by special counsel Robert Mueller, including blaming his predecessor. I have been much tougher on Russia than Obama. So why has the president not imposed sanctions on companies doing business with Russia, as Congress called for? Why hasn't the president implemented the sanctions which Congress passed last year?
Look, frankly, that's not completely accurate. Look, this president's been tougher on Russia, far tougher on, well, there's a process that has to take place, and we're going through that process.
Those sanctions passed with overwhelming bipartisan support in response to Russia's election meddling, and Congress had asked for them to be imposed last month, but still no action yet from the White House.
Hey, NBC News fans, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.